Hey everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the Political Coroners. Today these are only going to be an hour long in order to make sure that, for the convenience of the guests. So if you were expecting something longer than an hour, I'm sorry to say you're not going to have that. But we have a very special guest. And also another thing is that they're going to be, not only are they going to be shorter, but there aren't going to be as many guests. To make up for that, we're going to take many time. We're going to take more time on the episode. It's going to take more videos to finish the series than normal. But you can binge watch these if you want to. Airborne isn't here today because he didn't want to do this, but we have Poop Dealer, and we are grateful that you came.
Come.
Okay, so this video, for today's video, we are seeing a guy who accuses Count Dankula of being a Nazi, despite the fact he said "Glass Israel." Okay, let's
beforehand, right, Johnny?
What?
You skimmed through this, like you watched it. Like
Yeah, I did watch it on a PSA Stitch stream.
We should get on.
Okay.
I'm gonna start it.
Here. So this is the beginning of a series of debate that we're going to do on the channel, and the first one is a little bit of an interesting one, to say the least. So Vaush called out Dankula on Twitter and called him a white supremacist, and Dankula said that was ridiculous, and then they wanted to have a debate. All the super chats.
Okay, so before I begin, for Vaush's uploaded video, because he uploads all his debates to his channel, it says, "Why did I agree to do this, even though Vaush was the one pestering Dankula?" So a bit disingenuous of him, if I were to say so.
I have to go now. I'll keep it streaming, but
we haven't
just call me
decided
if you need
on
anything.
which one exactly yet, but it'll be a COVID-19 charity. So yeah, hopefully we'll take some super chat questions at the very end. But
that's great. I just want to say that yes, I did in fact call Count Dankula a white supremacist on Twitter. Faraday.
Hey! Don't muddy the waters.
No, you've got the names mixed up.
Oh, look at this. Okay, let's boomer it out for a second. I was looking at him laughing. I was like, what is he laughing about?
So did you notice the difference between the two responses? Vaush was very serious, while Count Dankula wasn't. No.
Yes. Like the man went serious real quick.
Yeah, he does this all the time. He's done this for Sargon. He's done this for Hunter. He's done this.
You can make it longer than 2 hours, but I'm probably not going to be here for like. Wow.
We're just limiting it to 1 hour because
it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's called a white supremacist before, so I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. I'm used to the scrutiny. Okay. Known SJW Count Dankula impugning me for my racial bias.
Okay. So here's what we're gonna do. Here's how I wanted to start it out. Is white supremacist is like a term that just gets thrown around like crazy. And so I figured that what we could start is we could define our terms, and then and that's how we'll start out. But first of all, let's do introductions. Dankula, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Count Dankula, and I would like to say hello to my fellow white Christian brothers in the chat. That's pretty much it, really.
Okay, Vaush, give us a quick introduction.
I'm sure my audience knows that I only recognize their existence if they're not straight, so I don't think it even needs to be said. Yeah, I'm Vaush.
Okay.
God, hold up. Why does I know this is supposed to be a stream and all, but Jesus Christ, why does Vaush sound so serious?
Well, that's because he doesn't. He's he's a leftist. He's a leftist, and his only perception, his only goal in life is to spill leftist platitudes out of his channel. I've noticed this many times. He's insulted a lot of people. He has become very tense all the time whenever he debates anyone. But this is going to be harder for him to debate because this is a guy who doesn't take anything seriously.
Shit.
Okay.
I guess, even when I don't want to.
We're off to a great start. Okay, I'm only going to chime in to ask clarifying questions or to interrupt you guys if it gets way too heated and you're screaming over each other. Yeah, let's go ahead and before we do opening statements, I figured I'd give you all each the floor to talk before we begin. But Vaush, what do you mean? What is a white supremacist in your definition that you're using here?
Is this just me clarifying the term, or is this my general opening statement?
Just to clarify the term first.
Sure, yeah. So generally speaking, when I say white supremacist, I'm referring to a person who believes that there is A, some sort of fundamental distinction between the races, and B, one who believes that either the white race is superior in some empirical sense, or B, that we need to engage in policies or other social actions to prioritize that group of people. There are a lot of, for example,
Okay, so let's just break that definition down.
What did Vaush even? What did Count Dankula say to make Vaush say it?
It's the Gas the Jews video.
Oh wait, so he heard a Jew joke and accused him of being a white supremacist.
Yes. Okay, so let's just break that definition down. A person who believes there's fundamental difference in the races. Like skin, you could. Okay, so what is a fundamental difference between me and you?
I mean, we're a different color. That's all.
We also have different voices, and this.
One has hair and one doesn't.
Okay, but I'm just gonna say this out loud. In other words, that whites are superior in one way or another. I will say, yeah, I do agree that. Well, I mean, no, you can say whites are superior and they're more agreeable, I think. I don't think I'm being a white supremacist by saying that. Or he said, making policies that benefit white people, that prioritize white people. Imagine if there was a white slave trade. Would it be white supremacist to abolish that slave trade? You see what I'm getting at?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's just very confusing, his statement, because it's. Well, what would you say about his definition?
I just want to say that's not accurate, and he's taking some type of bias or something from my point of view.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound like the actual definition.
Let me just look up the actual definition. Okay. The belief that white people are better raised and they should. Okay, so looking it up by Oxford Dictionary says that white supremacy is the belief that all races should be subservient to white people because white people are a better race.
Oh yeah. Yeah, his definition isn't accurate.
No, but he's gonna justify it. Okay, we're gonna see how he justifies it. Okay, let's continue.
There are a lot of, for example, white supremacists who will say well, I'm not a white supremacist because I recognize that Asians and Ashkenazi Jews have a higher IQ. But
okay, let's just look it up. I mean, statistics might be racist, but. Says yeah, so it does say, I mean, is Forbes racist for saying that Asians and whites IQs are lower than African Americans? This is from Forbes. And of course, there's Aristocrat of Soul, which says the average IQs by race and ethnicity are okay. Jews and Asians have the higher scores, but us Africans tend to have the lower scores, but there are some Asians that do have.
I mean, it will make sense since most Africans are homeless.
Yeah, I mean that's not inherently bad thing to say. You're trying to solve problems. I mean, if you had there's a link. There's my sources, and of course, I mean, is he just gonna say statistics are racist? I mean, the whole. Well, I mean, okay, Poop Dealer. Did you know that they really malnourished black people to the point where they couldn't have higher IQ scores. So we are the fault of, basically I'm saying you just can't say, because since races are inherently different, you can't just say that because you think they're different, you're a white supremacist, because that leaves the door open a lot. Okay, let's continue.
SJW alert.
Fundamentally, they still advocate for white people. They're supremacist with regards to their social policy. So, yeah, my goal ultimately, I'm an egalitarian.
Is affirmative action anti-white supremacy because that is only benefiting minorities? That's just that is a policy that benefits minorities. Okay, let's continue.
Continue.
I love black people and people of all races, and I'm just trying to make sure we all get through life.
Okay. Dankula, are you fine with that definition of white supremacist before we continue?
For me, I would go with the actual definition, which is a person that feels that white people are superior to all other races, and all other races are or should be subservient to whites, and things should be done only for the benefit of whites. Like white ruled countries, apartheid, that type of stuff. The actual definition.
Vaush, do you have any issues with that definition?
Yeah, that's not the actual definition at all. That's a highly unacademic.
That's not the actual definition. He just said it's not the actual definition. It's not the definition, despite Oxford saying that is the definition. And look how he's going to justify it not being the actual definition.
Highly unacademic definition of white supremacy. What that does is it sets the bar so high that there's no way to ever prove that anyone is a white supremacist, because they would have to buy into a fuck ton of positions before they would actually fit that qualification.
Okay, so how many qualifications do you... I mean, no. You could be a white supremacist. You could just be like, white people, I'm willing to serve you because you're so great, Yeah, that's not the actual... So... Okay, let me get this straight. He's just admitting outright that he's warping his definition in order to prove Count Dankula is indeed a white supremacist. He just admitted that out loud. Are you there, Poop Dealer? I don't like being in quiet streams. But okay.
White can be as vague and indifferent as like.
It's nice when it's easy to put people in it, though.
White supremacy can be as vague and indistinct as like a Karen in some suburban neighborhood, like calling the police because she thinks there are some suspicious dudes outside because they're like black and they're just chilling. White supremacy.
That's not what you're fan. I mean, I'm just thinking. I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say that. I would just say, his definitions is awfully convenient for him. And he says it's academic, but what's more academic than the actual dictionary? Oh my. Okay, so apparently, like, you can be a. Okay, let's let him
It can
finish
be
his
very
point.
vague. White supremacy can be very definite. It's very difficult to pin down exactly where somebody falls in that spectrum.
That's not what your fans thought when you said when you accused Dankula of white supremacy. If I called you Hitler and then I said Hitler means a black man, what would your? I said you're literally Hitler, and then my definition for literally Hitler means black man. That's what Dankula. That's what Vaush is accusing Dankula of. Yeah, I have to agree with you. This is what. Mm-hmm. And you're cheapening the actual definition of. You're cheapening the. Well, it's his academic definition. Of course, there can be several definitions of the same word, like the, um, set. What's the? Maybe you have the wrong. You have to join. Maybe you have to join another watch together. There. Yes, Mom?
I'm just interested in racist policies and anti-racist beliefs. I'm sure Count Dankula, as a libertarian and a lover of freedom, will agree with me on virtually every prescriptive statement that I have with regards to race, and we shouldn't really have much to argue about.
But I thought I was a white supremacist. I thought that was the point of this. And also, I do enjoy that your definition is very, very vague. That's awfully convenient. But I mean, I thought I was a white supremacist. That was what you said. We're here to debate that. So it's a case of, do you feel I am a white supremacist?
Oh yeah, that's definitely the impression of you that I get. I was making fun of your non. nominal views. But yeah, like we'll find out what you actually believe, right? Or actually, we'll find out what you're willing to commit to believing, because we can never actually know what a person believes.
Okay, so
okay, so you could be talking shit when you say you love black people and love other races as well, then.
Yeah, of course, it's impossible to deductively prove whether or not a person actually believes something. It's right. Not possible.
So the thing that we're going into this debate with is that white supremacy is a very vague term that can mean a wide range of things. And even if I confirm that I don't believe in any of those vague things, you never know what I truly believe, so I can still be classed as a white supremacist. Fantastic.
Well, if the debate plays out in such a way that none of the accusations I make are substantiated, and the only thing I can say is, well, we don't actually know, then I'd say you probably won that debate, wouldn't you? See, that's how it works. If we go by your logic, then we can never make any arguments about anything that has to be proven with inductive logic. We would have.
Okay, so what do you say? Well, can we rewind it a bit, because I was. Okay, what did he say? What did he previously say before I was gone?
Anyone believes.
I was just repeating what you said. That was it.
Can I rewind it back to 3 minutes? Is that okay with you?
What that does is it sets the bar so high that there's no way to ever prove that anyone is a white supremacist, because they would have to buy into a fuck ton of positions before they would actually fit that qualification. White supremacy can be as vague and indifferent as
it's nice when it's easy to put people in it, though.
White supremacy can be as vague.
Yes. Pretty sure it can't, but okay. Well, no, he does, because Count Dankula just gave him the actual definition of white supremacy, but he's ignoring that definition. Yes.
Thank you.
Very well. He's ignoring that definition because it's not convenient to him. Okay. I'm just going to continue.
Taken indistinct as like a Karen in some suburban neighborhood, like calling the police because she thinks there are some suspicious dudes outside because they're like black and they're just chilling. White supremacy can be very vague. White supremacy can be very definite. It's very difficult to pin down exactly where somebody falls in that spectrum. I'm just interested in promoting anti-racist policies and anti-racist beliefs. I'm sure.
Yeah, at the same time, you said Glass Israel. Okay, we're gonna wait for Poop Dealer. Okay. So he said he just wants to promote anti-racist beliefs and policies. But muddying the definition of white supremacy shouldn't do that. To my knowledge.
I'm sure Count Dankula is a libertarian and a lover of freedom, will agree with me on virtually every prescriptive statement that I have with regards to race.
He's a lover of freedom, yet he supports Antifa beating up Tommy Robinson because he said some things he considered fascist. Yeah, I do agree with you that it is, but okay, let's just.
With regards to race, and we shouldn't really have much to argue about.
But I thought I was a white supremacist. I thought that was the point of this, and also I do enjoy that your definition is very, very vague. That's awfully convenient.
Notice how Count Dankula smartly calls out Vaush for his really vague definition. No, like if I was Count Dankula, I would just start speaking like Sammy Sonic, Hedgehog, classic fan, and just like screaming so high pitched he couldn't respond to me because he doesn't just he shouldn't he does like that's the only way you can win again. He is infinitely times less civil to other people than himself. Okay, let's continue.
But I mean, I thought I was a white supremacist. That was what you said. We're here to debate that. So it's a case of, do you feel I am a white supremacist?
Oh yeah, that's definitely the impression of you that I get. I was making fun of your nominal views, but yeah, like we'll find out what you actually believe, right? Or actually, we'll find out what you're willing to commit to believing, because we can never actually know what a person believes.
Yeah, yes, but he says we can't know what you believe in. No, this isn't a slippery slope. This is a one-way downhill. No, this is a cylinder that Vaush is standing on. If he pushes.
So
okay, so you could be talking shit when you say you love black people and love other races as well. Then
yeah, of course, it's impossible to deductively prove whether or not a person actually believes something. It's right. Not possible.
So
wait, he's saying he cannot prove that Count Dankula is in fact a white supremacist. You're a Nazi, but I can't prove that. So we're just going to have to take it that you are indeed a Nazi.
So the thing we're going into this debate with is that white supremacy is a very vague term that can mean a wide range of things. And even if I confirm that I don't believe in any of those vague things, you never know what I truly believe, so I can still be classed as a white supremacist. Fantastic.
Well, if the debate plays out in such a way that none of the accusations I make are substantiated, and the only thing I can say is, well, we don't actually know, then I'd say you probably won that debate, wouldn't you? See, that's how it works. If we go by your
what? But you just admitted that you can't prove anything. So by Vaush's own logic, he lost. He's already lost, and it's only been 5 minutes. Okay, so we'll get back to him. Okay, are you going to speak, Diego? I'm just... Okay, we're gonna...
Wait, is he on the stream?
He just left.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.
No. He said he'd be back in 10 minutes, Diego. Let's not.
Oh, we're not ending?
We're not ending. We're just gonna.
Yeah, I was doing stuff in the backyard.
Oh, okay.
Are you gonna continue?
Gonna continue, but I'm asking Michael to join in.
He's not gonna want to join in. Let's just continue. I have to check something very quickly.
Okay.
Your logic, then we can any arguments about anything that has to be proven with inductive logic. We would have no way of knowing what anyone believes.
I was just repeating what you said. That was it.
Yeah, cool. Well, hey, listen, if I believe it or not, I don't like the fact that there are white supremacists in the world. I doubt you do either. So if you're not one, that's great. It means one less person that I have to worry about on YouTube.com, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead. Vaush, since you're putting up the accusation, I'm going to let you go first with the opening statement. Try to keep it somewhat short, and then we'll let Dankula go, and then the rest of the debate, it'll just be open discussion.
Sure. Okay. So I'm actually going to be reframing the context of the discussion a little bit for that inductive-deductive line that I just laid out, because it is literally impossible to deductively prove what another person believes. This isn't usually the type of debate that I have. Like, what does a person believe?
You just... So basically, you can't prove if you won or lost. What's the point of this debate? But we're going to slog through it for you.
That's a very difficult to have. So instead, what I think would be more interesting is if I proceed under the assumption of good faith, the Count Dankula is an egalitarian, and then I build up all the reasons why I have been led to believe that he is not, and I can see how he feels about the accusations that I would levy there. So my argument would not be, Count Dankula, you are a white supremacist, I will prove it, which is...
But you literally just called him a white supremacist on Twitter. You know, like, I would try and defend that accusation first, because I think it's someone else. Right. Yeah, we're going to...
Which is not possible. But instead, Count Dankula, I've been given the impression you're a white supremacist. Let's go over the reasons why. I'm interested in hearing your response.
It's not what you said, though. You said that I, in fact, am. You've said it several times.
Yeah, I have to inductively reason it, but I think for the...
You don't have evidence. You don't have true evidence.
Discussion, it's better to walk through my thought process as I come to discover your content and the way that you talk and engage with stuff, rather than presumptively making the accusation and then like post hoc going over all the assumed evidence. I think it's a better way to go over inductive reasoning. But yeah, I think that if I may, this will be the end to my opening statement. My guess is what's going to happen here is we're going to engage in good faith conversation for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then after that is going to devolve into increasingly irreverent back and forth bickering. You're going to say the term, it's just a joke. Do you know?
Poison the well. But anyways, yeah, how can he assume that? Has he planned out his debate strands beforehand? You know.
Know what a joke is, mate, or I'm a fucking comedian about 80 times over the course of this discussion. We're not going to have any way of actually reasoning out anyone's positions, and it will end up being a...
Poop Dealer, are you there?
No.
Okay, so he said you're just going to say it's a joke. No, I mean, it was clearly a joke. You know, I mean, is he saying it's impossible? You shouldn't use that defense? Because I disagree with him there. Because, you know, you have to... If it's okay with you, I'm going to end the stream. Alright, everyone, this was just a test, and we'll see you later.